Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I want to talk about circular cuts, okay? A circular cut, quite simply, is a cut that uses the momentum of the sword and you're making multiple cuts in the same direction. Usually you'll make two cuts. It's very rare that you'll make three cuts because at that point you've kind of established a pattern. So, a typical circular cut would be I'll strike the blade, pull through, strike the head, okay? So I'll do that again. So basically, come through, strike the blade. Okay, so as you can see, I'm not using hips. Okay, once I initiate that blow, right, I make my strike and I'm just using the continuous momentum of the sword. And you can also do it on this side over here. Basically, I would go from there, I would pull around and strike there, okay? Now, you don't necessarily need to make contact. You can use this as a fake, okay? So I can be out of range, right, where I'll make my cut and then step in, okay? So here I am out of range. I don't even hit, and then I step in to gain range. So basically the blade is going in the same direction and we're making two cuts. Another common combination that I'll use, usually I'm doing this with a larger shield, but I'll do a Winkelhauen followed up by a middle Hau to the leg. So again, it's Winkelhauen, middle Hau to the leg. So this is a back edge cut. So I'm swinging the sword around. So I am initiating this with some hip motion, right? Right. So as it comes here, I roll the blade over, back edge, come around, strike the leg. Okay. So like I said, this is it's a different form of power generation. It's using the continuous motion of the blade. It's something that you probably just want to use sporadically because the issue with this is because as I'm coming around, once somebody knows that you're making a circular cut, they can see this thing coming a mile away. So it's not something I'm going to use too often. But again, like I said earlier, it's something that you do want to have in your toolbox. We've talked a lot, about different types of power generators. For most of the cuts, you're using your hips. Okay, so as you can see here, I'm using my hips to generate power. Okay, another thing that you can do is you can use a step. We do all that all the time with a lunge. So if I'm here, if I'm fully extended, and I just step forward, I'm generating power. With just with my forward motion. So that's another type of power generator that we can use. Sometimes we can use a combination of hip and step. Basically our classic slope step. Okay, so we're stepping. So we're using a combination of bringing the hip in and also some forward momentum to generate power. Another type of power generator is basically if I'm using my lat muscles. Okay, so these muscles over here, the lats, they're designed to, for you to do chin-ups and pull-ups. So they're designed to, pull your entire body weight. So I can generate a lot of power, just by lifting my elbow up and just coming down. Okay, just coming. That's how we generate power for our struts. How we're coming over here and bringing it with the back edge over here. So we're using our lat muscles. We're really not using any hips. We're not using any forward momentum. That power generation is from back here from the lats. Another power generator I've talked about is where it's kind of using the hips, but it's the rotational cuts where you're here, basically, as I'm making my cut, okay, that cut is basically, the sword is now set up, to go around to the other side, and I can do that back and forth. These are basically your typical Rorschachs back and forth, and that's using hip, but there's also some power. There's rotational power in that because this sword is traveling a long distance. It's going all the way around the world. Around your head basically. It doesn't have to go around your head. You can do this in front, or you can basically go all the way around to get to pick up some extra speed. Well, actually, not some extra speed, just pick up extra power. You're not going to pick up more speed because now the sword's traveling a greater distance, so they can see it. Coming from further away. Going back to the circular cuts, you can do them, all the way around your head. So I can go here, come all the way around, and come there. Or you can also do them, in front of your body. So here, okay, so that will also work. Especially if I'm not planning to make, to really to bind hard. I'm just using it as a fake, so I can use it. I can't, keep it in front, and basically make the circular cut, almost in front of my body, which will be a little bit quicker, a little bit harder to see. If somebody is used to seeing you, fighting a style where you're using mostly hips, if they're used to seeing you fight a style like that, or if they're used to seeing a style where you come in, you bind, you thrust, if you occasionally throw in a circular cut, it's going to change the pattern. It'll change the tempo of the fight, because you're doing something that they're not expecting. Typically when people will fight, it is most economical to go from one side to the other side to the other side, because basically I'm using the power of the hips, right? Okay, so power of the hips, and then basically, if you could, get a circular cut in there, you're changing things up a little bit, and this comes really into play if you're using larger shields, where you have more defense. And there tends to be a lot more blocking, and a lot more blocking, attacking. With these smaller bucklers, the fights tend to be a lot shorter because there's less defense. Basically, people usually get killed faster when we're working with a smaller defense. If both people are engaging and trying to kill each other. So that's the thing I want to talk about today. These circular cuts, something that you should have in your toolbox. And basically, like I said, it's just a continuation of the motion. So the sword's going in the same direction. It doesn't matter which way you're going. Okay, and you can use it as a fake, where you don't make blade contact. Where basically I'm here out of range, throw it, and then boom, you step in. If you guys have any questions, comments, please post them. Any feedback, I'd love to hear from you guys. If you're not a member of my channel, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.